This is my first kids horror and Goosebumps ranking that I have done. This is a monumental occasion. And so for that, I'm rocking the crackhead outfit. That's right, the suit over the hoodie. We got the crackhead outfit out here. And it's because these TV specials and Goosebumps are the crack rocks of kids horror television. If there was a person out there that wanted me to recommend kids horror TV episodes for them to watch, I would pretty much always give them these Goosebumps TV specials because they all have the proper quality, they all have the good writing, they all did a fantastic job pretty much in all of them. And spoiler alert, all these episodes get a 9 out of 10 or higher from me, which means I love each and every single one of them, all 6 of them. I love some of them more than others, as you're going to tell by the ranking, but nonetheless, they're all great. They're all ones I'd recommend. And these are basically standout pieces in all of kids horror television. So without further ado, BD, but now rebranded, of course, as the Horror Tavern, is presenting you with tonight's happy hour promoted drinks, which is the Goosebumps TV special episodes done in a ranking. So let's start the taste test, and let me introduce you to my first kids horror ranking video. We're going to be talking about, of course, as you can tell, the Goosebumps TV specials. And for those of you who are unaware of what these are, the Goosebumps TV specials were special episodes that they promoted in each season. And they were basically promoted a lot in advertisement and sales for the Goosebumps VHS line. So if you own Goosebumps VHS tapes, the TV specials were the main focus and promotion there. And these episodes stand out because R.L. Stine himself, the author of Goosebumps, as all of you know, was actually invited to do the opening and closing to these episodes, introduce the story, and then give a send-off to the viewers at the end of it. So basically, he's kind of playing like a friendlier kids horror version of the Crypt Keeper. So that's kind of his role, and I do like it. I like the Stine intros and endings. I'm not going to be factoring those into this ranking, but just off rip, the Terror Tower ending is my favorite from Stine. Him being lost in Terror Tower, I love that skit, so that's my personal favorite. But that's not going to be factored into the ranking. So we're going to be talking about the 6 TV special episodes, which for those of you who do not know as well, we're going to be talking about Night Living Dummy 3's episode, Haunted Mask 1, Haunted Mask 2, Welcome to Dead House, Werewolf of Fever Swamp, and A Night in Terror Tower. So those are our 6 that are on the chopping block. Well, preparing block. I love all of them, so they're not getting chopped down, but this is Master Chef, baby, and we do gotta rank the dishes Gordon Ramsay style, so that's what we're doing right now. So let's bring up the main dishes, the entrees, and that sweet dessert that I'm saving for the very top, baby. The very first one in my TV special ranking is none other than number 1, but in the rankings case, number 6, the bottom of my ranking, granted I still love it, is Night of the Living Dummy 3. Night of the Living Dummy 3 might be causing you to scratch your head a little bit. You're like, why is this ranked so low? I'm grading each of these episodes individually as to how much I love them, how much I enjoy them, how much I think they're good. So Night of the Living Dummy 3, if it was just from adapting the book standpoint, this would be probably number 1 or number 2. Honestly, it would be number 1, to be fair. This would be number 1 on my list, because it vastly improved the Night of the Living Dummy 3 book to me. The Night of the Living Dummy 3 book to me is average, it's mid, it's overrated. I made a video, one of the most overrated Goosebumps books in my opinion, made a video on it. Not going to go into too much detail, but that book had a lot of problems. Slappy was awakened early on, and he doesn't do jack shit the entire thing. You have Rocky and multiple dummies not even play a factor until the last like 1/2 of a page, and they really didn't do anything. In the episode, you get a lot more Slappy action. Slappy's fantastic. The little person running around in that costume is super terrifying, super ominous. He's tormenting the kids. You got the scene where he gets thrown into the well and then he comes back out and scares the life out of Trina in the bed. That's terrifying. All right, that was really well done. And his line there, I think involving like a frog in his throat, was also well done. I enjoyed that a lot. Slappy's really great in this episode. He introduces the new power that was not featured in the book or any of the books, any of the OG books, but it was carried on into the new TV show, which is the fact that Slappy can turn people into dummies. That's an addition to the Night of the Living Dummy 3 episode that's super awesome, super dope, super creepy. And you see how that plays out in the episode involving Zane. Zane also, played by Hayden Christensen from Star Wars. Very cool, very iconic to see him in a young role, similar to Ryan Gosling, like in Say Cheese and Die. And the multiple dummies do play a factor. Rocky is alive and in action pretty much the whole episode. The whole of part 2. So that's basically, 50% or more of this episode that is basically Rocky doing stuff. Multiple dummies, are featured there in a creepy scene in a bedroom. And Slappy, the way Slappy gets defeated in this episode is pretty fantastic. You got a nice emotional moment between one of the dummies and the family, the two main characters in this case. You got Slappy and something involving Mother Nature taking revenge on Slappy. It's really dope. It's really awesome. This one gets a 9 out of 10. I think this episode is great, and I definitely recommend it to anyone who wants to watch it. But the reason why it's at the bottom is because from an individual standpoint, I like the other 5 episodes a little bit more, if not noticeably more than this one. This one's still great. I still really like it, but just the other ones I love more. So yeah, number 6 on my list, Night of the Living Dummy 3's episode. Next up, number 5 on my TV special ranking is A Night in Terror Tower. A Night in Terror Tower, this one is pretty faithful to the book. The book I like slightly more because there's a tunnel scene involving rats that I enjoyed a little bit. And the ending, twist ending, is debatable between the two. They're around the same. Depends on what you prefer. This episode had a lot of fantastic, dark, creepy scenes in it. You have the scenes involving the animatronic prisoners starving to death, which is taken from the book. The way it's done in the episode is so creepy and so eerie that I enjoyed it quite a bit. You have the fake executioner and all the different prop and tourist figures because, of course, Night in Terror Tower. Terror Tower is a medieval castle, basically tower where executions took place. And, of course, you have to have it as a tourist attraction, so the episode is showing off all the different medieval torture devices and murder weapons and talking about executions and deaths. One of the darkest Goosebumps stories out there, and the episode does a great job with that. And you have a lot of really fun and creepy and ominous, basically tourist attractions. You have the animatronics with the prisoners. You have the executioner with the bag over his head, much like the cover of the book. You have all these different features that are really dope. The setting is super creepy, dark, dingy, seeing him run away from the Lord High Executioner, who's dressed up as like a Men in Black kind of figure, similar to like Halloween or something. And then when you get into the time travel, I actually enjoyed the time travel quite a bit too. That was faithful. You seeing the villagers, seeing the main character get ratted on, dragged out, and then finding out the origins of the main character. I thought overall it was all really well done. And the ending to this episode actually has a little bit of an added twist to it that makes it as if, not everything is as it seems. Maybe this might all happen over again, which depending on what you like, you may like the twist ending in the book more. You may like the twist ending in the episode more. I'd say they're around equal. So yeah, this episode to me gets a 9 out of 10 as well. The same score as Night Living Dummy 3. Night in Terror Tower gets that, but it's just I slightly prefer it. I like all the dark stuff in it. I like all the medieval torture devices and the creepy stuff. It's just really creepy and really scary to me, and I enjoy that quite a bit. And I thought the time travel, revealing the origins, and the whole story of just Night in Terror Tower, I think is pretty good for what it is. And yeah, the only real downside that brings this book down from this episode down from the book is the brother's acting is, oh boy, that man is annoying as jack shit. Jesus Christ, man. He is annoying. He's an annoying little guy, but the episode was still pretty great, so I enjoyed it quite a bit. So yeah, Night in Terror Tower. That gets a 9 out of 10. Number 5. Number 4 on my list is actually adapting a book that is my favorite book in the OG 62 of Goosebumps as of right now, and one of my favorite kids' horror / books in general of all time. And that is, can you guess? You probably already know, but it's Welcome to Dead House. Number 4 on my list, the TV special Welcome to Dead House's episode. As I take a sip, because I'm parched. Welcome to Dead House's episode is, again, in a similar vein to Night in Terror Tower. Super dark, super creepy, super scary. You have Dark Falls being the super ominous, dreary, creepy atmosphere. You have obviously Dead House in this case, the episode that the family is moving into. It's abandoned, it's creepy, it's really dingy and scary looking, worn down. They really can't be accustomed to it. And again, it's kind of like this freaky story. However, the difference in the TV episode opposed to the book is the TV episode was really, really very much like a haunted house type of story. Haunted house mixed with zombies. Not exactly zombies, but they're pretty much zombies. Undead people coming back to life. And hell, George Romero was about to make a movie about this that never happened. Jesus Christ, if that would have happened, I could have died happily. George Romero was going to make a movie, so they're pretty much like zombies. You have zombies mixed with a haunted house. It's a very creepy book. Has a lot of disturbing death scenes and stuff like that. Very dark, very disturbing. The episode cannot be as dark and disturbing as the book, but the episode is actually creepier to me in some regards, only because it's very much like a watch your neighbors kind of thing. The episode incorporates this watch your neighbors feeling, and it's very eerie. It's very creepy. It reminds me of like some cult. The imagery is like some cult type of stuff that you would see. It's like some cult type of stuff that you would see in what is it, like the Haunted School. You know, if you've read that climax, kind of similar to that. And the episode scene in this special with all the people, the citizens of Deadfall, breaking into the house and trying to get the family was super awesome. I love that scene. That's one that stuck with me as a kid, and it's super iconic, super scary. And you have this added factor to the episode, which is the wreath. The Christmas wreath that's hung up in this house is basically some type of unexplained magic control over the the Dark Falls citizens. It's got some added layer of like some, voodoo kind of sacred kind of object that keeps away these evil, malevolent people in this case. And I have a theory that this episode's popularity and that part of the added plot might have inspired a aspect that would have been in the story of the Goosebumps Gold book that was supposed to be a sequel to Dead House, which was Happy Holidays from Dead House. It never happened. Playstein. Never happened. But the cover of it, for those of you who don't remember, it was a Christmas wreath because it was supposed to be a Christmas Happy Holidays book. But it was a Christmas wreath the shape of a skull. The Christmas wreath and that cover, for some reason, automatically connects me to this TV special where they had a wreath playing this big kind of, object that was keeping off the evil spirits in this case. So yeah, the episode is great, super dark, super disturbing, super creepy. I like the ending more in the book, and I like a lot of the darker stuff in the book, but even the ending to this episode involving some member of the family potentially being more than meets the eye, I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. And I think that this episode is quite damn good. This is a damn good episode. I enjoy it quite a bit, and I'd recommend to everybody to go check it out and watch it. I really had a fun time with it. I think it's a great, super creepy episode, and it's a fun one. So this episode, the Welcome to Dead House episode, I would give a 9.3 out of 10. 9.3 out of 10, quite a little bit higher than the Night in Terror Tower and Another Dummy 3, just because maybe it's my bias. I love Welcome to Dead House, but I think that the episode, the writers and producers did a good job with adapting it. Yes, they couldn't do everything that makes the book, which is my favorite, basically a 9.8 out of 10. Not as good as the book, but the episode as a standalone is quite damn good, and I enjoy it quite a bit. I quite love this one, and I definitely recommend all you guys watch it. So that's number 4 on my list. Number 3 in my TV specials ranking is The Haunted Mask. Off rip. Haunted Mask, same quality as the book pretty much, gets a 9.7 out of 10. We got quite a significant jump. The Haunted Mask episode, hands down, is the most iconic Goosebumps episode to ever come out. Ask your mom, ask your family, ask anybody what Goosebumps episode they recommend. They all remember Goosebumps, Haunted Mask, and they recommend, and not recommend, but they will recommend you, but they also remember it watching it on Halloween. I love this episode. I've watched it every Halloween as a kid. It's so great. I've talked about how great the episode is. Carly Beth, played by Catherine Long. Fantastic. Carly Beth was made for Catherine Long. That's period. Carly Beth is made for Catherine Long. It is what it is. And you know why I say that? You would think that I say Catherine Long was made for Carly Beth. No, no. Carly Beth was made for Catherine Long. Catherine Long is what everybody remembers with the haunted mask. She's so iconic. She's so great in it. Everybody remembers her. I was reading the book after watching the episode. I watched the episode. I never read the book as a kid. Surprisingly, I love the episode, but I never read the book. I read the book for the first time, I think like a year back. And I literally thought of Carly Beth as Catherine Long. I could only see her as Catherine Long. Great job. Fantastic casting choices. Chuck and Steve are great as bullies. You'll see that later on with another special in my ranking. Her best friend is great as well. And just the atmosphere. It represents Halloween so well. It really embodies the Halloween spirit. It's a coming-of-age story. Carly Beth is the underdog. She's a scaredy cat. She's a wimp. You see Catherine Long's acting shine. She becomes this braver Carly Beth. You root for her. She's the people's hero. You want her to win. The design of the haunted mask is so great. The way it sticks to Carly Beth's skin. The way she panics. The way that she gets so scared. It's so well done, and I love it quite a bit. And yeah, just the episode, man. The shopkeeper is great. The haunted mask itself is great. The scenes on Halloween of her scaring people is great. Her burying her sign of love, the sculpted picture, or the sculpted head of herself by her mother, burying it in the graveyard, something the episode did well as well. There's a lot of great things in there, and I quite enjoy it. So yeah, The Haunted Mask, this one doesn't need much. 9.7 out of 10, as good as the book is. And yeah, I love this episode. Great, great, great. Number 3 on my list. Number 2 on my TV special ranking is The Werewolf of Fever Swamp. The Werewolf of Fever Swamp is literally a miniature movie done as a Goosebumps TV special. There is so many fantastic things within The Werewolf of Fever Swamp. The Swamp Hermit. He has a lot of added lore to it. You have an idea of his family and loved ones being taken by potentially the monster, in this case, a Fever Swamp. You have him being super crazy and creepy in the episode. He's super creepy and crazy. He even pulls out the blick, he pulls out the rifle and threatens to, potentially shoot some kids. He kidnaps kids. He, has his whole interaction scene with the werewolf, the whole lore, and potentially may or may not get killed by the werewolf in a brutal off-screen, implied death scene. The scenes with the werewolf in this episode are fantastic. The chase scene inside of that house is one of my favorite moments. The chase scene where the sister turns around and sees the snout rising up and snarling. The chase scene with the POV of the first person camera, and the barn attack scene with the mother and sister. This werewolf climbing on top of the barn, attacking it, trying to rip through, trying to break in and kill him, smashing its arm through the barn and trying to reach for the mother with its claws, and her having to basically try to break and stab at his arm. It's so well done. One of the main villains has a sympathetic moment of pain and vulnerability with Grady, the main character. Brendan Fletcher, fantastic, love him as well. The main villain has this sympathetic and emotional moment, this moment of vulnerability with Grady that was not really in the book, and that makes you sympathize for that person. Kind of gives you the impression that they're, this is really something that they've been struggling, dealing with. They can't control themselves. They've killed and hurt people that they can't do anything about, and Grady has to find a way to stop it. And the ending, the solution is, again, the same as the book, but the way it's done is so ominous, so creepy. Man, I love this episode. And just the atmosphere of Fever Swamp. So creepy, so scary. Really, really dark, really, really dingy, really, really eerie. The sounds of howling at night, a lot of stuff in Fever Swamp is just really well done in the episode. And the episode, to me, is great. I love it thoroughly. It is a movie. There's so many great things involving it. I give it a 9.8 out of 10. The only reason I didn't give it a 10 out of 10 is also because I love one episode more than this, which is my number 1. And the twist ending I'm not as big of a fan of as I like the twist ending in the book. I like the ending in the book. It motivated me. I liked it. I like that feeling of the ending. The ending in the episode is still good. It still gets a 9.8, but it subtracted some points. I didn't think it was as good as the one in the book. If they kept that one as in the book, this would have got a 10 out of 10, no doubt. But yeah, 9.8 out of 10, damn near perfect. And arguably, in terms of quality and production, easily one of the best Goosebumps episodes, not even a question. And finally, number one on my list. Not going to go into too much detail about this because a lot of you have probably seen my video. If you haven't, the title is the best Goosebumps episode to ever air. And it, of course, is the last TV special in my ranking. Number one on my Goosebumps TV show ranking is The Haunted Mask 2. Perfecto, flawless victory, the best kids horror media to ever drop. Drop the mic. This episode is fantastic. Improve the book. The book was still good. The episode's fantastic. You have so many amazing things. First of all, one of the best kids horror villains of all time, the shopkeeper possessed by the haunted mask. He feels like an anime villain. He's creepy. He's got aura. He's intimidating. He stalks kids. He can manipulate the victims of the haunted mask, the unloved ones' bodies. He manipulates Steve. He torments. He tortures him. He puts him through a bunch of pain and gives him an ultimatum. You either do what I want you to do and basically sell your soul tonight to me, or I'm going to trap you forever as this dying old man. And not only that, but I'm going to make your life worse. I'm going to make pus burst out of your eyes. I'm going to make thousands of spiders crawl under your skin. I'm going to make your bones soft, and you're going to crumple and suffer. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. That is a black Air Force wearing motherfucker. That is a anime villain. That is the demon timing that I love to see done in kids' horror. That was fantastic. I love the haunted mask possessed shopkeeper. Steve as the old man. Yo, man. Steve is the old man. You're sympathetic for Steve. He suffers so much in this episode. Yes, he's a bad guy. Yes, he's a bully. But just seeing him suffer, seeing him die slowly, seeing spiders crawl through his hair and his flesh, seeing people try to help him and then get scared away by how grotesque he is, seeing his fingers turn into pruny old man goblin hands, seeing it stick to his skin, seeing him lose his breath, die of stamina. It is so painful to watch Steve go through that. And then it plays into him having a redemption arc by the end of the episode. Fantastic, amazing. Steve then becomes the main character, the hero, the unlikely hero that you didn't want to support. Great job to Steve. You have his best friend Chuck. Chuck is funny. Chuck dressed up as a mobster. Cool guy, cool, funny guy. Carly Beth. Carly Beth is now a mature Carly Beth. She's no longer the scaredy cat. This is post Haunted Mask 1's episode. Carly Beth, she's now brave. She's more mature. She's warning people. Warning Steve, do not get messed up with the haunted mask. These unloved ones are terrifying. They got evil powers. She then comes to help Steve. Steve then helps her in a time of need, and they both become best friends. Two opposing sides that did not like each other, that tormented each other, coming together in an epic finale to beat one of the most intimidating villains in all of Goosebumps. And again, the atmosphere of Halloween, the embodiment, people in costumes, trick-or-treating, doing all kinds of things. This episode is amazing. And that ending, the twist ending, is a cool resolution. The villain gets defeated, but then you get a twist. Then maybe the spirit of the holiday is always going to bring back some forms of evil, and that's the tradition carrying on. The kids' horror version of Sam Hain, basically. I love this episode. Fantastic, 10 out of 10, flawless victory, and it's number one on my Goosebumps TV show ranking. And with that, we're done. All 6 TV specials ranked. That is my ranking. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you loved this video. Again, hit that subscribe button. We are 6 subscribers away from hitting 200 subs. As soon as we surpass 200 subscribers, I'm going to be making a Q&A video. Hit that like button down below and let me know your ranking of the TV specials. Do you agree? Do you disagree with me? How do you feel? And yeah, that's all I have for today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and deuces. Dog, I need to lay off the Taco Bell and the Chipotle and the pizza, man. This suit circulation with the buttons is cutting off and dying by my stomach. In fact, I think I heard a button pop.